Check, check. Testing, testing, testing. One, two, three. Excellent. And let's verify our audio. I love it when things work. Oh dear, I can't hear audio. I gotta probably just change the monitor to. Oh no, not that, not that. I need SoundFlower open. All right, SoundFlower, don't throw up on me when I do this. And there we go. I should be able to hear sound. Okay, and I can hear sound, and I believe I hear sound on the stream. Excellent. All right, we should be good to go here. Just refresh that. Okay. All right, we are good to go, everybody. Hello, my name is Ross Shabilsky, and I am the founder of D20 Studios. We are an indie game studio based in Salt Lake City. I am the creator of a upcoming, amazing, how do you describe it? Top-down fantasy adventure deck builder called Summoner's Fate. And this is a card-based tactics game with RPG elements and exploration and all kinds of other good stuff. And what makes our game unique and stand out from the crowd, and this is why you should be interested, or I hope that you're interested, is that I'm a community-driven developer. And what that means is I communicate directly with our player base, converse regularly with them on the forums, our social media channels, our Discord chat, and we collaborate together to design the game. And so my goal is that the game's cards, expansions are all driven by the ideas and desires and hopes of the community for what they want to get out of this experience. As a player myself, I feel one of the things that's lacking in the marketplace is a certain level of service, quality, and care toward the people who are playing the games. I like to think that our players are very important individuals with ideas and different thoughts they have on where they'd like this game to go. And I think that as a developer, the best thing that I can provide is a level of quality and service that makes each person feel respected, heard, and valued within our community. And I like to build groups of people that can get together, enjoy awesome gaming experiences, have a great time, and I like game mechanics that are very intrinsically motivated. So Summoner's Fate, unlike other card games, is not going to be a free-to-play based game, but rather a premium title. And the mechanics of the game are all driven to inspire creativity. It's a card game about winning in the most creative ways possible. And so, what I mean by that is you're going to take and combine cards in interesting, unique ways to build strategies. You're going to go on Dungeons and Dragon-esque adventures, controlling a party of heroes, and customize them to your liking. And then you're going to play cards to create really weird, wacky, and fun strategies. And these are all inspired by different members of our community. One of the ones I like to talk about a lot is our Squirrel Hurlers. This is a group of this is a druid who can throw squirrels at her enemies and then play cards to mutate those squirrels, like literally mutate them into humanoid monsters, and then breed them into an army of superhuman Hulk squirrels. And that's just one example. And so today I'm going to be focusing on implementing some new cards, and these were inspired by members of our community in discussions we had in the Discord last week following episode 2. And these are all ideas that players came up with, and then I kind of worked with them and discussed amongst the group that was there ways to kind of hone them and make them fit within the game, fit with some of the existing assets I had already created, and give unique spins to turn them into cards that I think would be really effective for the game. So we're going to focus on building these today, and so without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in. And hello to all the viewers watching today. If you have any questions or shout outs, feel free to just jump in the channel. I'll be kind of glancing over here to make sure I can respond timely. All right, so here are the cards we have for today. First off, we've got the Red Imp. Okay, and this is a card I think that originated with an idea from one of our members named Swedish Bear. He originally wanted a character that could mimic or clone other units, and I like the mechanic of the idea that you could have something that takes on the role of something else. I think his original thing was about taking control of stuff. I can't recall, but we kind of worked with it, discussed it amongst the group, and then I really liked the idea. I had this imp character for a while. I love the concept of little interesting characters like this weird mischievous little demon, and so we decided to give the power to him and kind of change it up a bit. The idea of this character or the demons in general, we kind of decided as a group of players and developers that we wanted demons to be these sort of wrecking force of chaos. Their goal is like the Joker and Batman. It doesn't want to win. They just want to cause chaos and enjoy in the confusion and weird things that happen within the game. And that's the goal of the chaos players. And so the demons in general are about chaos. And this little guy in particular is not a very scary demon. He's about causing mischief. So to kind of talk about his power, the inflict is a keyword. It basically means that when he hits somebody with his attack, specifically it has to injure them, right? Hitting their life and not just bouncing off the armor. He is going to swap control of himself with the attack unit and then gain stealth. So effectively what that's going to do is allow this character to steal any one of the opponent's characters of your choosing and take control of them. But in return, you're going to trade the demon to them. So on the next turn, they could go after you and steal one of your guys. The stealth makes it so that he can't be targeted by attacks or spells. So you can't just take and steal with them and then kill him off to prevent the swap next turn. It's like a very deliberate choice. So we think he's going to be a lot of fun and create some mechanics you've never seen before in a game like this. All right, let's go on to the next guy. So we've got the Horse Demon. Now this guy is meant to be terrifying, the stuff of nightmares. I'm a huge fan of chess, and originally we had plans to create a whole suite of chess piece-inspired characters, so that's kind of where the horse came from. And I don't know, we just had this kind of direction where we experimented with them being this really evil-looking demonic black horse like the Black Knight. And so some of the ideas that were discussed in the Discord, I believe it was Loganera that was suggesting a character that could sacrifice other units to kind of play off of the Red Imp's power and have interesting things where you could like steal someone's guy, then sacrifice somebody else, like kind of think of the synergies. So we toyed around and came up with like 4 different versions before everyone got excited about the Horse Demon. So I'll talk about his powers. He has Taunt. Taunt is a power in our game where if you are within melee range of them, you are forced to attack them. You can't move away. You can still cast spells, but you can't perform other unit actions. So it can be used to pin characters and lock them into combat, which is very effective. And then Vigil is a power that gives him unlimited counterattacks. Normally in our game, when you attack an enemy, they get 1 shot to attack you back, and then they're sort of exhausted for the whole round. So you typically want to attack with your, expendable guy first, burn off the attack, and then, gang up with your other characters while he's defenseless. But Vigil makes that hard to do because he is not defenseless. He will keep attacking you every time he's hit. So it's a deadly combination of you have to attack him, and he's going to hit you every time you do. With a very low cost, our mana costs in the game range between 0 and 5. So 2 can be, and you get 3 mana a turn. So 2 can always be played the second you get him, and there's no summoning sickness. So he can just plop down. 5 damage is a ton of power within our game, given that your main character has 20 life typically. So he can knock off a quarter of that in 1 shot. So really powerful unit, but he has a drawback. And this is a case where I love the idea of the weaknesses of a character causing tension and kind of creating the fun. And in this case of this guy, the Horse Demon is going to demand a sacrifice of you. So at the target return, you have to sacrifice your closest ally. Otherwise, he's going to deal the 5 damage to your summoner, which I think is pretty crazy. Maybe even we could do some other fun stuff like he hits your summon and then he just kind of goes away, or he refuses to take orders. I don't know, but we'll focus on building it as is today. All right, and then we've got Cat of Nine. Now this is kind of fun because we were talking about mummies, and I'll bring up the mummy in a second, and we got to this suggestion from somebody about a immortal mummy. And I said, well, we've already got a mummy, but the idea was that it kept coming back to life every time it was killed in front of your summoner, which has all kinds of powerful implications. And I know it looks pretty weak on the onset. 3 cost is very high. 1/1. It's a kitty cat. I mean, come on, what's going on with this card here? But we had these cats in the game, and I honestly wasn't sure what power we were going to give them. My wife and I had talked about the idea of like the 9 lives of the cat, and after I heard the player suggestion, I kind of thought maybe I could connect these in a way that make this meaningful. And so we sort of took the mummy and replaced it with the cat, and then gave it the same kind of power. So downfall is an ability that triggers when something is defeated. Okay, so when they die, it's going to do something. And in this case, we're going to summon the Cat of Nine by your summoner until it has been defeated 9 times. It basically has 9 lives. And this in itself seems like a weird power, but here's some implications. I mean, you could have your summoner kind of held up in a corner with only 1 attack position available, put the cat in front, and the enemy's going to have to take and barrel that cat away 9 times before they can get to your summoner. So he's only got 1 life, but he can come back 9 times, which in a way is a lot more than just 9 hearts, because you can't take and eliminate him with like a 5 power attack guy. You're going to only be able to deal at most 1 damage and have to deal with him 8 more times. The other fun thing with this character is we've got another card in the game called Transfer Conscious. And what that does is let you actually inhabit the soul of another one of your characters with your summoner, such that you could become the Cat of Nine and then have to be killed 9 times. So there's all kinds of weird, fun things. I'm sure we're going to discover all kinds of fun bugs and edge cases with him, but I'm very excited about that one. And last but not least, we've got the Mummy Queen. And this was a take, I believe, on Imsicola's idea for like a zombie princess. And I felt that the idea really synergized well with our mummy concept. We had these mummies in the game. We've got several, a king, a queen, and kind of a general mummy soldier. And I like the idea that the whole mythos of mummies is they were buried together. You know, if a pharaoh died, he would be buried. They would kill his wife and bury him with them. It's pretty twisted. So the idea here that the queen is always serving, right? They're always in service of the master, right? In this case, your summoner is the master of them. And so what happens with the mummy queen is she's going to inflict. So when she wounds, she's going to heal your summoner by the amount the attack unit was injured. So it's a great way to send her out there and recover life on your summoner. Kind of plays off of some of our other cool undead creatures like the flesh golem, which takes the hits for your summoner for you while he's on the board, kind of like a bodyguard. So this one's more like a little bit proactive. She goes out and heals for you. One key thing, the cost of 4, and the fact that this unit is a very important nomenclature in our game. We consider any units that cost 4 and that are units to be Guardian class. And Guardians are a unique feature to Summoner's Fate. Most card games, you start off with nothing on the board, and you have to kind of build up your forces. In Summoner's Fate, you always begin the match with your Summoner, who is a character on the board that casts your spells, and they also have their own abilities and movements and attacks. And you also get to start with your choice of 2 Guardians, which are any character that matches your Summoner's colors and costs 4. Right? And so the fact that she costs 4 means she can be chosen as a starting character to begin the game with, which makes her very appealing. And that way you can kind of plan strategies around this idea of gaining life with her and exploiting that ability. All right, so I'm going to leave it to the group. These aren't in any kind of particular development order, but for those viewing here, is there any particular one you guys would like to start with first? All right, let me go ahead and check out our comments. Imsicola, I am so happy to see my ideas here. By the way, Ross, what do you think of my candle ideas? Oh, yes, Imsicola, I've very much appreciated all of your ideas in the Discord. It's been a pleasure. I know I haven't responded to each one individually. I'm dead fast on getting the build complete so we can get this game out to all the other viewers that are very interested in playing this. By the way, I can't believe I forgot to mention that, but our public early access for Summoner's Fate, my goal is that will be out next week or the first week of February. We have a newsletter going out on the first Wednesday of February that will be announcing the release, and you'll be able to come to our website and purchase the early access and be able to play and develop along with us on the stream. And my goal for these streams going forward is that as we create the content together here on the stream, I will then be able to push that content to the builds, so you actually get to play with the cards we make even on the same day that we're making them, which is pretty exciting, and I'm very excited about that. So next week is the big day. If you haven't already, we've got our website here. I'll show you real quick here. HTTPS Summoners There we go. SummonersFate.com is our website. And right here at the top, subscribe to our newsletter. Go ahead and put your email in there. This is our Discord as well. If you want to join in our community discussions, feel free. I'm always on there listening and responsive as I can. But we'll be announcing, and so next week you should see a big join our early access over on the webpage. And we'll have that running on our website here for a few months until we've got the single player done. And then we will be obviously pushing to other stores like Discord and Steam Early Access as well. Okay, let's carry on. Fireball, dude, loving the art style and the concept so far. Love it. Thank you so much, Fireball. I really appreciate that. We spent a lot of time with our art style. It was one of those things I thought, oh, this would be easy. I think it was about 8 months it took us to get it honed exactly right. Top-down perspective in particular is very challenging, and so the way we handled our unique mechanic, which we also used in our first game, Hero Mages, was the idea that the characters would look up at you, because we wanted to both create a connection to you and the character, and also give you a signal that it's time to act with it. So it's very multifunctional. Everything about the art style, in fact, is designed to make the game eliminate all of the barriers and distractions typically associated with very complex turn-based games like this, and make the gameplay experience as fluid as possible. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that comment. And Imsacola, Reptus Shield Master, 3 mana, 2 power, 6. Like your summoner, can only take 1 damage at a time. So we got another great card idea there. Very interested with that. And Dysberg Z says, the Imp sounds like a lot of fun. Okay, well, I'm going to take that as a sign. Let's go ahead and start with the Imp then. All right, so once again, Red Imp, swap control of Red Imp with the attack unit and gain stealth. Okay, so what we're going to do now is jump into my definitions editor. And this is, for those who haven't seen it before, a custom application I've built in which to create all of the game's content. My goal is that this game will be a long, many years running service that I will provide new content regularly for our players, and so I needed a way to rapidly develop and introduce content without having to make extensive code changes to the game. And so this tool allows me to do everything. Create characters, create levels, even test levels. I've got one running right here. You can see I can move characters around. I can modify the terrain dynamically on the board here, like I'll create a wall there, and you can even see I've now the wall blocks line of sight. So it helps me build test levels, test mechanics. This is a card I was working on this week called Wormhole. I'll show you, this is pretty fun. Another weird fun thing of having a card game that's also a tactics game. So this lets you basically open up a portal from any space and jump to it. And now there's this wormhole that's going to teleport whoever's there on these two spaces, so I can, run away and maybe put the skeleton in the wormhole. And now when I end my turn, he's going to portal over to the other spot there. Kind of a fun card, all right? So that's kind of what the tool does. And so I can reset this and go to preview mode, and that's how I'll edit levels and such, and you can kind of see how that process works. But we're going to be focusing on units, so I'm going to back out of the maps. We're going to go to our units, and I'm going to find the Red Imp, which is under our... I've got so many now, I need to build my search feature I've got in the game into here too. So this is the unit editor, and this whole suite here allows me to test all the animations. We create the animations in a program called Dragon Bones. It is a free software developed by Egret Software, very similar to Spine if you're familiar with that. Basically 2D based armature models. So all the benefits of a 3D model in 2D, like a skeleton rig, very small footprint, and we have adapted it with our custom code to handle vector graphics to raster, so that you can actually have very small footprint and still have all the diversity and awesomeness of 3D model. And so when I say our game will be easily updatable, we're talking like half a megabyte for a full expansion worth of DLC. I mean, it's pretty awesome. But let's not get distracted. I tend to go on tangents here. So this is the Red Imp. You can see him here. And right now I've just put in some stubs for his character. If I type a description up here at the top, you can see that will just, apply in the card. And I put this placeholder in just to remind me what we're going to be trying to do with him. He's got some traits. He's considered a demon, so any cards that do stuff with demons will affect him. I put his basic attributes, power 2, life 5, and his cost in here already, so those are all good to go. But as of right now, he has no power, so we need to give him this power of swapping control of himself with an attack unit. Okay, so before we can give it to him, we've got to create that power. And inflict is a trigger condition, so it happens when he's injured. So what we're going to do is go to our triggered ability editor and now create that ability. I'm just going to check the comments real quick. Dysberg Z, missed the idea submission for new spells, but one that could be useful, especially with some units. 1 mana creates spikes on an empty wall. Ah, yes. Traps are very integral part of our gameplay. All the environment is meant to affect the game. That's a great idea. And Imsicle, normally it would be imp, but it has red, so the name, so that means there are other imps. Yes, I hope there will be lots of other imps. Maybe they all cause different forms of mischief. Okay, yeah, and sometimes with these names, I don't get too creative. I like the idea of an imp. He was red, so I think at one point we had a blue one, maybe. I don't know. All right, let's see. Triggered abilities. Okay, so we need to do an inflict one. I'm gonna go back and find one we've already got inflict that, so I can kind of clone it. I like to minimize thinking as much as possible when I code, so I reuse things I know follow suit. Okay, and it looks like all my other ones here are, let's see, inflict mind control. Perfect. Mind control is probably a great example of one we can clone off of. This is an ability of the Cyanist. When she hurts people, if they're below a certain life total, she gains control. So we're going to start with this guy. Copy. I'm going to call this inflict swap control. Okay, and save. Okay, very good. And we're also going to put the keyword and description here so that when this ability is inherited, if other characters were to use it, they'll also inherit that description. So swap control with the attack unit. All right, so we're going to make it a little bit more generic so I can apply it to other units. Oh, and gain stealth. This may be entirely unique to this guy, but we'll try and put that all in there. Inflict swap control of this unit with attack unit. And what's it? I think I said go stealth, gain stealth, and gain stealth. Okay, so that'll just make it so the description inherits from here. Okay, and it's supposed to swap control, so that looks all correct. All right, so one of the ways we can handle the control ability, let's try to think how we're going to do this. We're going to get rid of these conditions. We don't care about life remaining is not important. We do care that the character's alive, so we won't trigger this ability if he ends up killing the guy that he's trying to steal. We cannot target heroes. That's probably a good thing. You don't want to steal the summoner. And we don't care what the damage type is, so we'll take that off. All right, so let's just save it as is. Okay, so as of right now, what will happen is when he attacks somebody, if he hurts them at all, he's going to apply a temporary mind control on them. And mind control temporary just means that they'll be controlled till end of turn. Okay, so we don't want to do that exactly. We want to gain permanent control. So one easy idea would be mind control. Okay, so now he will gain control of this unit, but we also need to swap his control to somebody else. And I'm trying to think how we could do that. Because we need to have the context be that the unit getting control is going to now take control of the imp. And so we need a way to control the marker for mind control. So I'm gonna go look at the mind control effect here so we can learn a little bit more about how I program that and figure out how we could adapt that to also work for the reverse effect of him swapping. So we're going to save mind control, or swap control rather. And now I'm going to go and look at the mind controlled status effect. So everything is component based, modular in this editor. And so you can kind of connect things together like Legos is the idea. Mind controlled, here it is. Okay, so here's what we got for mind control. Controlled by source name. It's got 2 triggered abilities. When it affixes, it does one, and when it removes, it does one. Okay, and so we're going to go ahead and look at the triggered mind control affix to see how that works. Mind control affix. At some point, I want to make it so I can just click on those things and it auto jumps around. That would make my life so much easier than have to go dig for them. Mind control affix. Okay, so these are the key things of mind controlled. So we're going to set a trait, a flag, on the original controller. Original controller ID. So we're setting a flag. So basically, we're going to store who the original controller was. That's important so that if somebody else were to mind control it back or remove the effect, that it can go back to its original owner. The idea is it kind of works like a status effect or an enchantment. As long as the control effect is on that character, you have power over them. But once the ability is taken off by a dispel magic or something, that it would revert back to its default state. So we need to store that so we can set it back. And then we're going to set the player controller to the source unit, the unit who created the mind controls controller. All right, so that's what actually gives ownership or control of that character to the other player taking control. And then we're going to set activation use to 0. Basically what this does is it makes it so that they can, as soon as you take control, they're activated, they look up at you, and then you can give them orders. Those are the 3 things that mind control does. And then mind control remove is right here. What this does is when the status effect is removed, it sets control back to the original owner. Okay, so pretty straightforward there. Now, the key problem we have with the red imp is that not only does he need to take control of somebody, but he needs it so that the other player takes control of him. And the current concern I have is that mind control is all geared at taking the ability users, controllers and stuff and such, and applying it to the target. So we've got to figure out a way that we could, I guess, reverse this effect so that instead of it being the ability users, it's the target changing the. We need to basically make the reverse of this. Like instead of I'm controlling your unit, I'm giving you my unit, essentially. So let's attempt to copy that. So that's my first step. I don't quite know how I'm gonna do it yet, but I feel like I've got the essence of what we need right here, and I'm gonna take and hack it apart and try to reverse it. If we got any other engineers on here and you want to give me some tips, I'm all ears. It looks like we got some more awesome ideas from Imza Cole on the channel. I will definitely be reviewing those and noting them in my log later. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start by copying this effect. Okay, and we're going to call this, we're going to call it mind control reverse. I don't know, a better term, reverse. I don't quite know what to call it yet, so I'm just giving it like 2 names, give unit, give control. Okay. Okay. So I think in this case, what we need to do is instead of it being we can just swap these 2 things. I'm going to set the original controller ID to the target's controller, and I'm going to set it on the ability user. We're going to just attempt to reverse this. So let's go ahead and change the, I'm trying to think now, target. But yeah, this is the problem, because ability user, who is going to be the ability user on this thing? That's the key thing that I'm concerned about. This may not work. Because I have to think, first off, the context here. Ability user means the person who is using the ability. Okay. And target is the person who is being affected by the ability. And in the context of this action, the target is the event activator, which in this case is the status effect. So we're actually storing the flag on the status effect itself. And we are determining the value of the controller from the source unit, the unit who's created the status effect. And so the problem I have with going this route is that it begs the question of who is actually going to be creating this swap effect. If the red imp is creating the swap effect, then he is the source unit. And we've got no way to understand who the target player is that should be gaining control. So this route, I think, is a no-go. It's not going to work because we need to have essentially the person who was afflicted with the event cast the ability and use it. Okay, so this is not going to work the way that we had anticipated. Instead, we need to have it so that the person who is being stolen is going to be casting a mind control back onto the red imp. Yeah. Okay. This is this is a noodle scratcher here, man. We're gonna figure it out though. Okay. So I need a way to reference it. So some ideas I have, I'm thinking out loud here. Um, but we could have a status effect called like mind control you back. When you affix that, it's going to go after the source unit and attempt to gain control of it. Like this status effect has to be being placed on the by the person using it. Okay, let me keep thinking here. Mind control reverse. So set flag original controller by ability user. Maybe this could still work. I'm trying to think if we have a context here. If the character who is using the mind control reverse was targeting the set player controller. No, what we need to do is have the person who got afflicted just simply needs to cast mind control back on the target. That's all we need to have happen. Not all this silliness. We need to have that character basically say, when I be controlled, I need to cast mind control back on you. Okay, so let's remove these things. Yeah, I think that's right. Okay. I'm going to create a new thing. We're going to try this. We're going to try use action. I'm trying to think. How do we mind control? We need to just... No, we just simply need to have it apply mind control. Apply status effect. Mind control. That's what we're going to do. Okay. Mind controlled. And I want to have this be on the source unit. So that's fine. Okay. Look at that mind control one more time. Let's see. Source unit. That's what I need. The unit responsible for creating the ability source. I put these cheats here because remembering all these pointers would be maddening. We need to target the person who put the status effect on him and reverse it back at him. So apply status mind controlled on target. The target needs to be the ability source unit. The person who created this effect. There it is. There it is, folks. Okay, so the red demon is going to do two things. It's going to put mind control on you, but it's also going to put another power on you that's going to initiate the mind control reverse. And when that gets put onto a character, it's going to apply mind control back on him. And after that, we don't need to have the status effect anymore, so we can just go ahead and remove this thing. So let's just go ahead and say remove status effect, and the status effect in this case is the source. Okay. Okay. So now we need to create an effect for this to have that live inside of. So we're going to go back to status effects. Okay. And I wonder if I could just clone this. I'm not sure if I even need to have all these things. I'm going to go ahead and just copy this. We're going to say mind control you back. Mind control you back. That's what this does. I don't need description because it's only going to be temporary. It's going to basically do its thing and then leave the minute it's there. And the only effect it needs is mind control reverse, update, get rid of this. Don't need that. I don't even think it needs this. I think this is all it needs. Mind control you back. Okay, let's try it. Go back to triggered abilities. And we're going to go back to that imp power. Now, what did we call that again? It was inflict something. Inflict swap control. Okay, so the imp's going to apply status effect mind control. Good. And then it's also going to apply status effect mind control you back on the target. Okay, and the last thing it needs to do is give itself stealth. So that's easy. We just apply status effect. Stealth is just an ability on to myself, ability user. And that should give the imp all the powers he needs to do his thing. Okay, and then interesting. Okay, I think that's everything. If that would be amazing if it was that simple. It never is that simple. I'll tell you right now, it's never that. I always go to these things thinking, oh, it's gonna be easy. We're gonna create all these cards, and then it's like, Nope. The last week we had problems. We ran into bugs. I had to rip apart the whole engine to figure out why it wasn't working and make a bunch of changes. But I think that's gonna work. Okay. Let's go to Red Imp. Okay, so now we can get rid of this whole thing because it's going to inherit from his ability, and we need to give him the power of Inflict Swap Control. Okay, and this can be 1. There. Swap control of this unit with attack unit and gain stealth. Okay. Let's save that. Let's go test him. Let's test him. This is why I love having everything in the engine, because now we can go and just drop him right in there and see what he does. Red Imp. Red Imp. You guys excited? I'm excited to see this. Okay. Let's go yank this scorpion from the enemy. Whoa. What just happened there? Okay, it looked like it started off working. Okay, well he is stealth, so we got that part right. He's controlled by himself. He mind controlled himself. That is unexpected. We do control the scorpion, and it looked like somewhere in the process we did lose control of him, but we got him back. And I'm not sure why. Oh. Wait. No, I'm not sure why. Let's watch this again. What was that third thing? 3 things happened there. I saw 3 effects. 1, 2, 3. One of those things was put in stealth, I think. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're gonna have to look at the log here and figure out what just happened. So we're almost there, but our mind control reverse did not work. So it looks like what happened. Okay, here's where we attack, and then we use inflict swap control. Inflict swap control resolves. Computer Scorpion uses mind control reverse, give control on player's Red Imp. Ah, haha. Interesting. The order of operations made it so that he did give control, but he did it while he was on my team, or the opposite. So mind control, give reverse resolves. Red Imp uses mind control affix on mind controlled. Mind control affix resolve uses mind control affix on mind controlled, and then he became okay, and he didn't counterattack because he's mine, which is correct. So let's go back. I think that might just be an order of operations thing. That's just my hunch. Inflict swap control. Okay. Huh. I think because of the nature of the triggers, we have a stack system that executes in last in, first out. So this one gets applied first, and then its effect triggers. But then before it resolves, this one gets applied, and then it gets put on the stack. And so then this one gets resolved, and then it goes in reverse order. Stealth, this, and that. So I think we just need to reverse these two. Seems kind of weird because it looks like we're putting this guy first. The other way we can fix it is by breaking the stack order. I've got this handy thing here, which always confuses the heck out of me when I do it, called execute on trigger. And what that basically means is when the effect is applied, it executes immediately, bypassing the normal action stack. So either one of those ways could fix it. I'm not sure which is best yet in terms of this thing. If we want to just have that auto execute and apply its effect outside the stack, or do it this way. Let's try it this way first and just see if it works. And then I can pontificate about that later, about the best route to go. All right, here we go. Now, let's see here. Come here, Scorpion. No, did not work again. Okay, so something else is going on. Let's take a look at that log again. It should have at least reversed the order of that. Inflict swap control, uses mind control affix, mind control affix resolves. And then Scorpion uses mind control reverse, give control. Yeah, that seems even weirder. Okay, so, mind control affix looks like it does resolve outside the stack because it didn't, or no, it executed right in line there. Uses mind control affix resolve, uses mind control reverse, give control, Mind control of reverse gives resolves. Okay. Somehow, yeah, the mind control reverse needs to happen. Ooh, actually, now that I'm thinking about this, we may have to even do a further step here because I forget the idea when we're swapping, because the mind control uses the current controller. Even if we were to fix this, I feel like what would happen is that the enemy player would control both the imp and the scorpion because it's going to have no way to reference back who the original controlling player is. It's like we need to store somewhere. We need to store the person swapping the control so that it doesn't just. Oh man, yeah, that's wild. We need to somehow store that property first. Okay, okay. Ross is thinking here. We need to store the original owner. That's what the problem is. Okay, so do 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 do. Okay, go back to the status effects. Mind control you back. Okay. Yeah. This one doesn't make any sense unless it knows who the original person is. So we're gonna have to give it something to store that with. Flag original controller ID. 1. We put 1 here, and the reason is that when I pass a status effect a property, it's going to multiply everything by that amplitude. So it'll replace this flag with whatever number I want. And in this case, I'm going to pass it the original controller's ID so that we can keep track of who the original player is. That's the issue, is that it can't swap back because once it's turned sides, it tries to give you back sides, but it's already on the enemy's team, so this logic makes no sense. We have to store the temporary variable for this to work. Wow. Okay. Triggered abilities. Mind control. Reverse. Okay. Eesh, this is even weirder now. Because this apply status mind control effect doesn't have any way to pass that variable. We got to pass that variable through this whole thing somehow. We may have to even create a new thing to do this. Mind control effects. Because all this can do is read the original controller's ID to the controller. Yeah. I'm thinking we're going to need an entirely new type of ability called swap control effects so that we can use the variable that's passed in rather than this. This is the information that is no longer relevant with us. All right, let's just start doing stuff and figure it out later. Okay, we're gonna call this mind control swap affix. Okay, so we're gonna clone that. Okay, and so what we actually need here is set flag original control to ability user player controller target. This is not correct. In this case, what I need is to grab the flag from the status effect that we stored. And we just went ahead and stored it in the same property here. So what I actually need here is it's going to be not the ability user attribute. Oh, do I not have a thing for that? Ah, man, come on, Ross. I need the source attribute, not the source unit attribute. Do I have no way to access the source? Oh, wait a second here. Would that work? What if I simply pass it the source unit's player control? No, because then I'll just make it so that the Scorpion, that we give control of the Scorpion and the imp to both. Okay, let's see here. Oh man, I feel like I'm gonna need to have that property carried over. I need to know the source's stored attribute in order for that to work. Think if there's any other way I can do it. or we could create a new flag because at this point the unit will also inherit from the status effects. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna use a whole new flag because that's gonna be safer. Okay. So we've got a flag for original controller ID. We're gonna make it copy flag swap to owner ID. There we go. That's what we're gonna do it. Okay. We're gonna go back to our status effects. Give you mind control you back. Instead of this, we're going to use that new property. And then I don't have to program anything fun. Update. Now we're back to triggered abilities. All right. Mind control reverse. Okay. That's not the one we want. We want the swap effects. Man, keeping track of this is mind-boggling. I tell my son it's like a spaghetti in my brain, just all tangled up, and I've got to I pulled it all out, and I've got to trace it all the way back to the original problem. I got to solve all these micro problems to get back to the macro problem. That's programming there. it's spaghetti. You turned your brain to spaghetti. That's the spaghetti gesture. Okay. So what I actually need now is set the flag of the original controller to not the ability user player controller target. We do want ability user attribute. No, we want ability user trait. And I want that new property we just created called swap to owner ID. That's what we need. Okay. Oh, wait, maybe that's not the one we want to change. We want to change this one. Undo that. Go back. Set attribute player controller to. This is the one I need to change. Source unit trait. That's the one. Type flag swap to owner ID. Okay, that was tricky. That should work. So we're going to grant control of this character to the person who it was originally owned by, which is the swap to. I know this is confusing. I know it's confusing. I'm confused. We're all confused. You wanted a weird ability. This is what happens, okay? This is what happens. Ross gets confused. All right. Now, we need to pass that ability in. So we need to go to that inflict swap control. Okay. We need to store that property. So where this currently says 0, we're going to pass a number, which is going to be the target's original controller ID. So here we go. Target attribute player controller. Is that how I call it? Something like that. Player controller. There we go. So we're going to pass in the target's current controller to mind control you back. So that when it swaps control, it's swapping control to the player it originally belongs to. Yeah. Save that. I hope this is making sense. Is it making sense? Everyone's like, I don't know. Okay. So we're passing mind control back. Okay, got that. And this will be irrelevant unless we create a new mind control type for this. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to create a new mind control swap, a new mind control effect. Triggered abilities. Okay. Status effects. Yep. Copy this. Mind control swap. Oh man, this is confusing. I'll have to come back and think of better names for this stuff. Okay, this is going to be the new mind control fix. Everything else can be the same about this, actually. Okay, and we need to make sure we put the mind control swap on that ability. Triggered abilities, and we're going to go back and review the breadcrumbs for this. This one. This needs to be the new mind control. Not that one, not that one, this one. Okay. I'm just going to go test it. Let's just see if it works. I'm a gut feel kind of guy. I don't like to think too much. I like to just trust my instinct and see that and hope this is gonna work. I think that's what the problem was. Probably isn't, but oh my God, it worked! Look at that. Yes. There's a lot of stuff happening there which we can clean up, but the key thing is I no longer control the imp. I control him because I'm in debug mode. But here, let's turn that off. Okay, I no longer control the imp. He's stealth, so I can't attack him back or kill him. And I now control the scorpion. Holy crap, that is cool. Look at that. It just worked. That's amazing. Okay, there's all kinds of other fun things we need to figure out here. Like if I dispel magic, is gonna go back to my ownership. Is it smart? It did work. Good. If I get rid of the status effect on him, does it go back to the enemy? It did. It did. Folks, we have just completed a full-fledged red imp there. Look at that. What? He's controlled by himself? Actually, that's weird. He's controlled by himself. I guess it makes sense because he was the originating source unit. He ends up casting control by himself, but he casts it from the opponent because essentially what happens is he pokes him with his pitchfork. The pitchfork effect makes him go crazy. He then casts a spell on him that says, mind control yourself to me with that new ID I passed you, and it did. So probably should try to fix that breadcrumb so it says controlled by the scorpion. Would make a lot more sense, but you know, I'm good with that for now. I'm happy. If we have time later, we can clean it up, but heck yeah, it's working. Best not to ask questions, right? Yeah, I won't bore you through the details of me cleaning up all that code and trying to document it better for myself, but I just want to get it working. Yeah, cool. Let's see if we can take control of the troll. We should not be able to because in this case he's the summoner. But let's go poke him. Okay, so first off, it's not going to work with the first time. It hit his armor, so there was no inflict triggered. Let's do it. This time I dealt damage. It did not steal him because he is a summoner. And the power only works on guardians. Or, sorry, minions, rather. Anything that's not a summoner is a minion. Let's see if I can steal the snake. Come here, snake. Join me. Now you're my snake. I'm so confused, but now you're my snake. There we go. Cool. Red Imp! A mischievous little devil that causes chaos. Oh, you know what? Let's see, let's see if the AI uses him back. Of course, I poisoned myself with a snake. If he's smart, he's going to take this bard here. That's what I would do. Oh, he didn't do anything with him. Is he actually owned by the player? Is he owned by the computer? He didn't control him. We may not be done yet. Oh, I'm going to die. No! Don't die! Yeah. Okay, start over. I probably should have a summoner that has some more health here. I'll make myself the Marauder Warlord. There we go. So why didn't he use the Red Imp? Unless he doesn't actually own the Red Imp. Maybe I thought I gave control of the Red Imp, but maybe I just gave him like weird control of something else. Put this thing right here. Alright, I want to steal something. Here, we'll put the bard right here, facing the rear, so we can get a nice tempting target for that. Okay, I'm gonna steal the scorpion. Now you have my Red Imp. Now you get out of here, and you go away. So, you go. I don't want to have that Red Imp get confused. I want to just see if the computer is able to steal the bard. That's what I want to have happen. Okay. Okay, I have a feeling that this is broken. This is not actually controlled by the computer. It's probably showing as red, but it's probably a neutral unit. Let's verify that. If I move him, who does it say owns him? Neutral. Neutral owns him. Sigh. I did not actually finish the ability. We have to go back and tweak that. Okay. That's okay. That's okay. We're a step closer in the right direction. We kind of know what's happening, but clearly I passed some information wrong incorrectly there. So we had to figure out what I did wrong. Okay. So let's take a look at inflict swap control again. So I'm going to apply status effect mind control you back, and I'm passing that status effect the current player controller ID. Okay. So if I go to mind control you back, that would then convert swap to owner ID to be the current player ID. That's what it should be doing. And then we're going to apply mind control reverse on, is when we would triggered. Okay, so mind control reverse. Triggered abilities, mind control reverse. I should probably say this, mind control reverse on a fix, because this is going to be on a fix status. Okay, there we go. Oh, look at that. This is why, because I didn't pass the property. I passed a 0 to it, so that's why it went to neutral player. I need to pass that flag we just set. Which is going to be temp activation. No, this one. There we go. There we go. Save. I think that's it. Oh, I think we're good to go. And test. And start game. Okay. Let's do the same thing as before. Let's get everybody out of my way. We're going to go steal the scorpion. Come here, scorpion. Okay, so let's see. Is he owned by the computer now? No, he's still neutral. Still neutral. He did not get owned by the computer, so we still have a mistake. Something did not get passed through all the way. Let's go back. I jumped the gun. Okay. Mind control swap. Apply status effect mind control swap to ability user. Okay. Yes, we need to have that property passed to mind control swap as well. That's the issue. Mind control swap does not store that property. So it has no idea what to do with that. So oh, sorry, it's a trait. Okay, swap. There we go. That's the one. All right, now it should store it. In theory. Okay, join me. Am I in? Are you owned by the computer now? You are! Success! Success! Okay, now let's see if the computer goes and tries to steal one of my things. Alright. Let's see if he uses the imp back. Alright, come on, attack me and give me my imp back. Uh-oh. It's chugging. Oh, no, it figured it out. Oh, it didn't attack me, though. Why didn't it attack me? That is weird. The computer doesn't know what to do. Its mind is blown. And he just gave up his stealth. That seemed like a really silly thing to do. Why would he do that? Computer uses remove status undetected. That is... This is why I'm going to need another big AI pass at the end, because I've created so many new weird things I didn't think about the first time. I'm going to have to make some special concessions. That's a lot of work to figure out why on earth he didn't do that, but I'm sure there's some kind of reason it fathomed as to why it would not want to steal control back of the imp. The important thing is, can it? Okay, so I do get control back of the imp, and does this now become computers? Let's see if it's computers now. That's the key thing. It is. Okay. So it's functional. The AI is just dumb with it. That's okay. Really, it needs to be functional. We're going to have players testing that ability. You'll be able to play this in PvP, and it'll work just fine. But rest assured, I have plans to make this game's AI the best you have ever seen in a turn-based card game. I mean, like, it will be like human caliber quality opponents when we're done with it. So that is a matter of just investigating and probably figuring out how to prioritize its choices to understand that stealing the Bard back would have been a good move. Okay, I'm going to call that one done. There is one final thing I need to make sure I do actually before I call it done, and that is we need to make sure we set that flag back for the control. I don't want to have that attribute linger as... Actually, no, is that okay if the attribute stays on board? I'm gonna call that one done. We'll come back to him. I'll think about that one later. All right. Red Imp's ready. He's ready for playtesting anyway. Let's focus on our next guys. Horse Demon, Cat of Nine, Mummy Queen. Ready for your votes. Yes. Dyersburg Z, nice. Spoke too soon. This is going to be easy. Yes. I told you it wouldn't be easy. I told you it's never easy. Mummy Queen. Okay. Hey, guess what, guys? Mummy Queen. I feel like that one. No, I'm not going to even say it. Maybe if I don't say it, it will be easy. Okay, Mummy Queen's up next. All right, so Mummy Queen, inflict, heal your summoner by a mount attack unit was injured. Okay. This one, I can very conceivably understand how my existing powers can connect to do that. Hopefully it won't be that bad. Hopefully. I've just cursed myself, as the mummy would be doing to me. Alright, we're going to make Mummy Queen next. Back to the units. Oh, yeah, one more thing I got to do is make sure that Red Imp is set for release, too. Red Imp, where'd you go, buddy? So, Alpha, non-functional, he's now functional, which will make him appear in the card set. Okay, and Mummy Queen. Mummy Queen, okay. Alright, so just like before, her power is just kind of keyed in here. So we're going to cut this because we're going to need to take and put that in, inherit that into the new triggered ability. And then save. And go back to triggered abilities. And this is just another inflict ability. Do I have anything that's kind of similar to that right now? Power drain. Vulnerability. I thought I had an inflict life drain. Isn't that one of the things I have? I'm trying to figure out. I thought I had one that gains life, and I'm trying to remember that one went. Wasn't life steal in... Oh. Oh, interesting. Lifesteal triggers on the attack event. Huh. I wonder if I want to be using that, actually, because this has the event val I need. Actually, I think I do. This is a little different than the inflict because it needs to be able to track the event val. Although I wonder if this would work too, because effect val here is the damage amount, change in life and target remaining. So I have two ways I could implement. I could do it via the lifesteal way, which looks like it uses the attack event, or I could do it via the inflict way. Interesting. 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 I'm going to try doing it this way because I feel like these should all be consistent. I'm not really sure why this one event is still using the attack event. They should all be using this other damage event. I'm going to go with that. Okay. I'm going to start with this one as the base. Inflict. Heal summoner. There we go. Save. Okay. So, remove. Okay, we need to use the event val because the amount needs to be the damage that was dealt, and the event's going to pass that damage in here. So that should be pretty straightforward. And then we're going to go to add to attribute, life remaining. By, not number, we want, or is it number? I think number is what I want. Number 0. You can stay as 0 because number is always overridden by event val if I tell it to pass it. At least that's how I remember it working. I think that's correct. Okay. Next step, we need to figure out who the target is. Who is the target? In this case, it says the target is event targets, which is array containing the damaged things. We certainly don't want to heal the person that was damaged back the amount of life they were dealt. That'd be pretty funny, right? The mummy hits you, and then it's like, you know what? Forget the damage I just dealt you. I'm gonna go ahead and heal you back. That'd be pretty funny, right? Let's see that. Let's see that. Let's see it do that, because I think that would be funny. All right. And we need to put the mummy's power on there anyway, so let's just start with that. All right, Mummy Queen, where are you? Triggered abilities, inflict, heal summoner. And I think amplitude 1's fine here. That's what I always usually want to use. Let's make her functional. Save. Okay. So remember, we didn't finish her ability. I'm expecting her ability to be broken, and I want to see it broken because it makes me happy when things do the thing I say they're going to do. It's okay if it's broken if I know it's broken, and I say it's going to be broken. Okay, Bard, get out of here. We're going to get the Mummy Queen on board our team instead. So remember, as of right now, the way that power was written should be that if she hurts something, it's gonna heal it back. That's what I want to. That's what I want to see happen. Oh, she hurt it. Interesting. So it did carry the effect of 3 damage, but it looks like she inflicted it twice, which was funny. That's kind of weird. Okay, so it didn't quite do what I expected, but so let's go back to that and see why it did that. Inflict heal summoner. It's because damage is considered a negative value. So add to life remaining is going to be adding a negative value, which is the same as subtracting. That makes sense. So in this case, damage is the change in life was -3. That's good to know because we need to make sure that we do the opposite of that here. So this should not be an add to life. It should be a subtract. See, we learned something. We want to subtract the damage back. There we go. So now the negative is a positive. Fix that. Okay. Now we don't really want to heal the target, but let's just again verify that that assumption was correct. Again, always good to do things in steps so that you don't step on your toes later. Always understand how your code works. I hit you, and I heal you. That's what we expected to happen. Okay, good. Let's go back to our triggered abilities, and now all we gotta do is make it so that that ability never start a sentence with all we gotta do is, because that's another invitation for disaster. But we need to make it so that it's going to heal the summoner, not this target. So what we need to do is get rid of this, change this to action default so we can create our own custom targeting algorithm. And what we're going to do is select any unit on the board. Doesn't matter where they are. We need to do a new target subject, target. They need to be the same player ID. We want to make sure it's our summoner. So property player ID is equal to target subject ability user property player ID. Where are you? Player ID. Okay, so right now it will heal. This means any unit that is owned by this player will now get healed by whatever damage we deal. That would be a pretty powerful ability. Would you imagine the Mummy Queen just heals everybody on the team based on that? A little OP. But so now we have to filter one more condition, which is to make sure it's the hero. So target. We want our attributes is hero. Is how I store that. Is greater than or equal to number 1. Okay, and you can only ever have one hero, so this should heal the summoner. Okay, that should work. Now, one more thing I do want to fix is I don't like that effects we have on there. I want to use the same one that we use with the flesh golem. So I'm going to go copy that guy's stuff. And the flesh golem is bodyguard. That's the one. I want the siphon animation. Surge of healing. Let's copy that. Inflict heal summoner. I want that siphon. VFX is going to be a whole polished thing. We're going to have great VFX for this game, and I'm going to build a whole suite of tools to make awesome VFX. But for right now, we just need something that provides feedback. That is the most important property of any kind of a visual effect, is to provide meaningful feedback that something is happening. Players need to understand what's happening in the game. And it's funny because effects and that are important. They're good at getting people like excited and interested, like, hey, this game looks really cool. But the thing I always tell people developing is that art has the goal of selling your game and getting it into the eyes of people, but what really creates a meaningful gameplay experience is the cerebral aspect, what it does in your head. And when you create a mechanic, like think of board games, all right? Board games have no VFX, but they are very visceral and imaginative. When you play a game of Risk and you put those little pegs on the board, those are tanks and planes and ships in your mind. They're not just pieces. Your mind, in the context of what you're doing, makes it into a more real thing than any VFX I could ever create or that anyone could create. Always keep that in mind. The goal of the game is to always create the best VFX in the minds of the player playing it. You've got to create the right story and situation that gives them the ability to imagine the best type of gameplay. Um, so again, we just want to have nice VFX to provide the feedback. And in the player's mind, they're gonna create their own story as to how this mummy creature is somehow robbing life and giving it back to the summoner. Okay. Now, it wouldn't do me any good to see if it's working unless I actually, injure this guy. So, go punch him a few times. Okay, he's on the brink of death now, and I'm gonna go and steal some health. Oh yeah, that totally just worked. Let's do it again. Interesting. Why did I give him 2 life there? That was quite curious. So the first time worked. But the second time, oh, I see what it did. He had, that's a problem, isn't it? Yes, I see here. That's probably why we used the attack event before, because it looks like the damage effect is giving you the raw damage value. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the reason I use the attack event for the leech life is that it's a little bit smarter about it. I modify the event value to give you the actual amount of life remaining. So we had player feedback. The way that the life drain power used to work for the Lich King and the Harvester was that it would steal and heal back the amount of damage it dealt. And players felt it was weird because the Lich King would go and slaughter a 1/1 squirrel, but he dealt 3 damage, and so he would heal himself 3. They're like, how the heck do you suck 3 life out of a 1/1 squirrel, right? It doesn't seem very fair. And I agree with that. And we changed the Lich King's power accordingly so that it was appropriate to the mythos players had described to me. And I feel that's important here too, because this Scorpion's on the brink of death. He's got 1 heart left. So how the heck am I sucking 3 out of him? And I can verify we are sucking 3 out of him. Let's just make sure I'm correct. That's why we're getting 2 back. Okay. So I just sucked 3 life because I did 3 damage. And if I had buffed her, you can imagine the exploits of that. Like she deals 10 damage, she's healing 10 life by killing 1/1 squirrels. That's not very good. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and fix that. We're gonna go back and fix it by doing the changing that triggered ability to use the attack instead. So now I know why I did that. I should leave a note for myself so I know why I did that. It's important to remember things. Okay, heal summoner. So the one we were going to use was life drain. So this is okay. All right, and I try to remember what my notation code was. I have a special notation I use to put notes to myself that doesn't get interpreted. It gets filtered out by the definition descriptor so I can remind myself of things later. So when I'm in here like, I don't need this thing, let's delete it. And I'm like, crap, I just broke the game. I put notes to remind myself, don't touch this, Ross. And this is why. Where's that one I had just put in here note-wise? It was something with remove status effects, I think. Yeah, here we go. It looks like I'm using just these brackets to put notations in. So we're going to do that. Okay, go back to lifesteal. Just going to say note, use attack event so that event val does not exceed remaining life. Okay, that's the reason we decided to do that. So let's get rid of. Okay, that should work. Okay, good. So that's just a little note, so when I come back in here and be like, why did I do that? Oh yes, that's why I did that, and I don't have to second guess myself. And I'm going to put that same note on the heal summoner. And yep, there we go. That's what I wanted to see. So you can see in the preview text, it's filtering out my notes because of that. If I get rid of this, it does not filter the note. Handy thing. Always notate your work so you don't second guess yourself. Okay, and so now I just got to change that event. So instead of it being the damage, it needs to be the attack complete event. This looks like when I'm doing it. Okay. And I think everything else is the same. And let's verify. Okay, come beat me to the brink of death control. Ow. Okay. And now you get in here. What the? Oh no! Oh. See, why did that happen? You think? It's probably because in the attack event I reversed the polarity of that damage to become relevant for the lifesteal. So, just why? Why? It's funny that should be in there because I had thought to myself, like, we have a card called the Mummy's Curse. I'm gonna bring it up because this is just funny that it kind of ties together. I like the idea that the mummies just kind of manipulate the life of summoners. That's a cool thing that we can just say our mummies do that makes our mummies unique from other games. So Mummy's Curse. There we go. You'll see why it's a curse. So you put this on an enemy unit. Whenever that target enemy deals damage, their summoner loses this much life. So I had this in the game for a while, and we've got a mummy character, and I thought that's why I loved the idea of how we could reverse it for the queen. So they've kind of got like a dual purpose thing. The queen heals her master. The king's curse curses whoever you put it on to hurt their summoner. So it all kind of ties the same mind-bendy way of manipulating your opponent. And I think that's kind of funny. So we've effectively got the formula now to build the Mummy's Curse is to just basically take our power as it is and stick it on that card. So that's why I bring that up. Okay. Anyway, let's go back. Really easy fix here. I think all we have to do is... I gotta stop saying real easy. Somebody please yell at me next time I say, it's gonna be easy. Just say, Ross, it's gonna be hard. It's always hard. Okay, inflict. What were we doing again? Heal summoner. This is the hardest part of programming. I keep forgetting what I'm doing. And yeah, it's... Imagine now when I have the kids at home and how I'm somehow able to do this and stay focused. I don't know how it happens. It takes incredible focus to remember what you're doing. Okay, so we're going to reverse the polarity once again. Add to attribute. Okay. So the next time we create a life draining effect, we know the proper event and we know the polarity now. Okay. Come beat me up, troll. Oh, not that much. If he knocks me there, I will die because I'll bounce off the spike. So we just want to be hurt. Okay. That's good. Okay, so first things first. If I hit the troll, the power's not going to... Oh! Ooh, that's not good either. How did that happen? So this time the power worked. See, it's never going to be easy, Ross. It should not have life drained his armor onto me. That is a mistake. I'm not sure how that managed to happen. So we're going to have to go and we're going to have to investigate how the lifesteal works because that should have done 0 healing. Very amusing. Very interesting there. Okay. But let's undo that. Let's verify that we fixed at least the one problem of having... Here, let's get this transferred back. Okay, he's got 1 left. So let's verify that I only get 1 life back now instead of 3. Okay, so we did fix that part of the problem, but we got to fix this armor. She should not be life stealing from armor damage. That's okay. once again. See, it's never easy. It's like it should be a rule. It's never easy. When you say it's easy, it's never easy. Okay. All right. So how did I handle this on lifesteal? Aha. Event val is greater than 0. Is that all I needed to do? I wonder why that would even... Clearly, the event val would have been greater than 0 if it even got to that point, right? So how does lifesteal work? Unless I've broken lifesteal. You know what? We need to... Let's experiment. Let's learn. Let's learn. I need a Lich King on my team. Get over here, Lich King. Where are you? Oh, that's right. He has a name. Lich King. Antarox the Lich King. Okay. Troll, if you would please, just beat him up a little bit. Thank you. Oh, that's right, though. I gave him Pierce. This may have been bugged all along, but because he's got the Pierce, he's always going to hit through the armor. Ho ho ho. I bet you that's the issue. Yeah, I bet you that's what that is. Interesting. He's got Pierce, so he's going to always hit through the armor. Look at that. Okay. So that's going to be a code change because I need to fix... let's close all this down. Let's take a look at the attack event. HM... Attack effect? There we go. Here's all my logic for determining attack damage here. And that's where the event fires. Attack complete. The event val is the damage. The damage is reported as... Yeah, so that's the problem, is that this line ensures Lich King doesn't steal more life in his power. So my concern is that damage does have to take into effect the armor so that I can properly calculate the armor damage. Maybe it doesn't have to, though. Maybe I could just make a flat-out rule where it's going to be not the armor. Does damage need to pass armor? That's really the question. I suppose if I had an effect that needed to take into account the actual damage dealt, but if that were the case, I could probably... You know what? I think that's all we gotta do. Let's just get rid of that. I don't think that's going to have any adverse effects, but I think that's what we're going to do. Okay. Publish. While I'm republishing, let's take a look at the chat. Dysberg says, Ross, reverse polarity, 5 mana, reverse the effects of all spells played. Let's turn our bug into a spell, guys. Let's break our own rules. I like it. All right. And let's see, we've got some other notes here. Imzakola says, I thought the mummy was ranged. I made a card, but I think it will work with this game too. Rabbit Oracle, 2 mana, 1 power, 5 life, start of turn. Look at the top 3 cards in your deck. Interesting. It will be really easy. That should be D20 Studio's slogan. If you say it's easy, it will never be easy. That should be our slogan. Because it's never easy when you say it's easy. That's the bane of any engineer too. You get to the point where you're so cocky, like, it's gonna be easy. No, it's not. It's easy in the sense that you're up till 2 in the morning working on it, and eventually it gets done. It can be done, but it's not easy. Okay. Let's go back and test our mummy. Oh wait, first we gotta beat him up a little bit. Control. Thank you. One more time. Thank you. Okay, and now. Okay, perfect. That did work, but we do have to fix one other little thing. We don't want to have it do that goofy effect, so we want to make it not trigger at all. One more step. Triggered abilities. Okay. Trigger subject. The event val has to be greater than 0. There we go. That's how I have the Lich Lifesteal, right? Yes, good. Okay. And go back to here. That's good. Same dealie as before. Okay, so this time, good. And I shouldn't even see it. It shouldn't even show up in the log. Attack physical resolves. Yeah, there was no trigger. No trigger occurred. Good. And now I should heal 3. Good, good. Let's hurt the scorpion. Okay, and now if I kill him, I should heal 1. Booyah! Another ability created. Another unit ready to play. Heal your summoner by amount attack unit was injured. Great. Okay, so that works. Now, obviously I have concerns. I'm always nervous about any kind of changes to core logic because this has the propensity to affect any number of things I may have been using that damage effect with. So that's why I say, like, my goal is to get the code to a place where I don't have to touch it anymore. We figure out how the stack works, we leave everything alone, and I can just add and extend new abilities. In this case, we had to change the rules a little bit. I think it's okay. There's probably repercussions I haven't considered. We'll have to deal with those when I get back. But that's why we're in early access. That's why we got players testing. Our early access program has been incredibly valuable to me. I mean, I have discovered so many bugs and errors I never would have conceived of without everyone's help. So thank you so much for those that have participated from our Kickstarter and been providing such helpful bugs and repros for me. I've gotten all the issues in the last build fixed, so when we put the new build out there, I'm hoping it's rock solid, no bugs, that kind of a thing. At least all the major, like, recurring issues are taken care of. So let's verify he's stealing life. Good. Okay. Let's get him out of here. I want to just verify the Lich King's still stealing armor. I'm just looking for any possible bugs. What I was worried about happening was that the armor damage wouldn't show up because it's no longer reflected there, but I think it is because it's captured via a different property. So we still saw the -3 and the -3. That was what I was concerned about. And now, how much life did he steal? He should have stolen 3. Good. Okay, and let's verify he works. Does it make maybe deal 2 damage to him? Dang it! Give me another unit. Let's put this guy on the board. I haven't programmed it yet, so I think he's a 1/1. I just want to verify that the Lich King's only stealing 1. Okay. Yes, he got 1 back. Okay, perfect. Cool. Mummy Queen is good to go. Thank you, Imzacola. She's in. She'll be a guardian that you can choose when the build is out. Fantastic. Okay. 2 down. We got an hour left. We've spent an hour or an hour and a half. Let's see. So far, our record is 3 cards within the stream. I would love to get all 4 of them done. The Red Imp was probably the hardest. I think the Horse Demon and Cat of Nine are probably equally challenging in their own rights. But what do you guys want to see next? Imzacola, I will use her often. Hey, Korea 801, thank you so much for joining the stream, man. I appreciate you being here. Any thoughts on which of our cards you would like to see next? These were all inspired by player ideas. So far today we've completed the Red Imp and the Mummy Queen. I've got your choice of Horse Demon or the Cat of Nine as the next ones we're going to build. This one shall be your choice, Ross. Okay. Well, I'm going to pick based on linear order. We're going to go with Horse Demon. Horse Demon! Horse Demon! Give him a scary voice. No! All right. At the start of your turn, sacrifice a close ally melee, deal 5 damage to summoner. All right, we're going to start with his first 2 abilities. All right, let's go to Horse Demon. Dun, 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 dun. Horse Demon. And I already stubbed this guy out. Now, I forget, I have these all categorized by their armature type for now. Demon. Where is he at? Jeez, I really need to... I was told by somebody once I need to come up with a better naming scheme for my stuff, and I absolutely agree. Where is he? There he is. Okay, so he's stubbed out. Oh, and it looks like I've already got his abilities in there. I already did the first part. So any existing ability is incredibly easy. If you guys want to just come up with the cards and be like, I want a 2/2 with taunt and flying, I can make it in like 30 seconds. That would be a great card to make. I can make 100 of those on the stream. Because once I have an ability made, I can just reuse it, and we can give them any number of amplitude to that ability as well, which is cool. So these are all tunable. Not that taunt or vigil have any kind of numerical value associated with them, but if they were, I could just change the numbers. So really, all the challenge of this guy is going to boil down to this crazy ability where he sacrifices stuff. That's going to be the fun part of making him. Everything else is already built in. He's ready to go. Yeah. He could definitely do some sound effects. You know, he's kind of needs like a creepy growl death sound, but really, we want functionality here today as our goal. So let's copy this, cut it out rather. And let me just undo that real quick. No, I can't undo. At the start of your turn, sacrifice closest ally minion. So we need to make a triggered ability that starts at the start of your turn, or else deals damage to summoner. This or else part is going to be the tricky part. And I was thinking a little bit this morning as I was having my coffee about how I could make that work. And I think I have an idea. All right, let's start with the first part, the sacrifice. He's going to sacrifice stuff. Okay. New triggered ability, sacrifice. Ally start turn. At the start of your turn, sacrifice closest ally minion, or else deal 5 damage to your summoner. Okay, save that. Let's go back to where that's at. Really should have it auto-select stuff when I save it. That'd be nice. Okay, and here we go, folks. We are going to go ahead and... Okay. All right, start of turn. First thing we need to do is trigger event. Start of the turn. Start of the turn. Okay, and it's going to be the action default since we have pretty much no pointers that will allow us to do anything else. All right. We need right now this event will fire on anyone's start of turn. If it was a 4-player game, it would do it on every person's turn. We don't want that. We want it to be on my turn. So trigger subject. We want to make sure the event activator, so the player whose turn is started, we want to make sure that their player ID is equal to the trigger subject, ability user, player ID. Okay. So there's our first program trigger. The player whose turn it is, ID has to match the person who's using this ability's player ID. So it has to be, you know, basically it's my turn, this unit's turn. Okay, so that's the first part, save. All right, now we got to figure out what we want to do. Okay, sacrifice the closest ally. All right, sacrifice is easy. All we do for that is go to apply status effect. Oh, sorry, no. We modify attribute, set attribute as we want. All right, so there's 2 ways you can do this, and I'm gonna query the players. There's 2 ways to sacrifice something. We can simply remove it from play. You know, it goes into the vortex and disappears in a magical portal and just basically taken off the board. Or we can defeat it. You know, like have it die. There's a major gameplay distinction between the two. If it's removed from play, it will not trigger any defeat abilities it may have. So like if a water elemental, his power is when he dies, he heals everybody, right? If we have it trigger the death, then when it sacrifices, that character will still get to use its death power. So in the case of, hey, I'll put the water elemental next to him, he's actually benefiting you as opposed to hindering you. So which of those 2 options do you guys want for the Horse Demon? A 1v1v1 mode would be chaos. Yes, it would. Yes, it would. And I know exactly what that'd be like because we had 1v1v1 in the first game, Hero Mages, which is this game's predecessor. Death, yes. Death, Imzacola says, death, I agree. Let's go with that. So set attribute. Oh, sorry. We want, what's we think? Pending defeat. That's the one I want. Pending destroy. That's how we kill him. 2-1. Save. On target. Okay. So he's going to kill something, but what? Right now he's going to kill none unit. That's not good. We want any unit. And we want it to be not just any unit, but target, subject, target. Oh, interesting. So here's another question for you guys. As it reads right now, start the turn, sacrifice closest ally minion. Okay, ally is a very particular keyword. Okay, it doesn't say the word your minion. Sacrifice your closest minion. It says the word ally. I have used the terminology of ally in this game with anticipation of us expanding from a 1v1 to 2v2. So ally could refer to a teammate. If I use the word ally here instead of your, I'm going to program it such that it actually is ally and not your unit, which means that the Horse Demon could effectively sacrifice your buddy's characters as well. So I want to ask that question. Do we want the Horse Demon inadvertently killing your allies, your literal human allies' characters, or just your own characters? Thoughts on the channel? And while you're doing that, I'm just going to go ahead and get stuff ready here. So just let me know which of those two options, your closest minion or your teammates, you or your teammate's closest minion. Okay. Team is equal to target subject, ability user, property, team. Okay. I think it should be teammates / yours. Okay, so both. Yes, so then that is correct. We programmed it correctly. Ally, the verbiage is correct, and we are in fact using team. Okay, we do not want to have the Horse Demon sacrifice the summoner. So we're going to make sure we put a condition to exclude the summoner. Target attributes is hero is less than or equal to number 0. Okay? Okay, so any unit that's on your team that's not your hero is who it can target. Okay, the next thing we need to do is closest, right? So we have a special thing for that, closest. And I want to have just one of them killed. Just one. Okay, save. Sacrifice an ally unit. Okay, we're going to test this ability out. I believe that is everything we need here. Now, we probably want to give it some kind of effect so you can see it visually happening. So you know it's the Horse Demon connecting. So let's just go ahead and reuse the... I want to reuse that effect we used for the mummy. Let's just use that. Give it some... Otherwise, you're going to see your character die. You're going to have, why the heck did that thing just die? Unless I have like a line going from the horse to something else. So let's go with heal your summoner. I want this siphon animation. It's great. Let's do that. Oh, you know, I just realized we didn't actually make this a cast ability either. I probably should have had it so that it actually gave her an animation. Right now, it just has a beam coming out of her. I'm going to... Dare I take that as well? Oh, you know what? On that subject with the mummy, if she dies, can she still cast it? Let's just leave it like that. I want to make it so she does a cast and maneuver. And then we're going to apply that same thing to the Horse Demon, which was sacrifice ally. I do want him to cast this, and I want to see this animation. And I want a particular sound effect. I want the sound effect from Drain Life. The one that goes... this one. Oh. I think it already has a sound. No, it doesn't have a sound effect built in. Let's use this animation instead. Okay, I want that animation, and we're going to use this. Okay. And we're going to go back to trigger abilities. Sacrifice unit. Okay, I want those animations. Okay. All right, let's give him the power. Units. Giant. Horse demon. Sacrifice an ally on turn start. Great. What the? Oh, I was like, why does this text look all wonky? Interesting. I may just change that. There's some cases where the text format's weird because of that, and this technically doesn't have the second part of the ability, so I may just end up changing that and putting the text back into him. But for now, let's just go and test him out and make sure he works. Okay, shall we? Go back to our sandbox here and give me the horse demon. This should be interesting. If it works as intended, it's going to kill it's going to kill something as soon as the game starts, I think. Giant horse demon. He's not a guardian, so you wouldn't normally be able to start with him. We may just go ahead and make a card for him as well, just to... My turn has started. He killed himself. Oh, sorry. The almighty horse demon has sacrificed himself. Oh, God. Sorry. Just not what I expected to happen. Why? Why? Okay. All right. Okay. Back to the old drawing board with that one. Okay. So probably want to have a condition that he doesn't sacrifice himself, right? That probably be good. Any unit does apply to himself unless we say otherwise. Logic, programming, it's a fun thing. Target is not equal to myself, ability user. Okay. Carry on. So now he's going to sacrifice Imzicola's Mummy Queen. Take this, Mummy Queen. Sacrifice to me. I like that. I think he should turn and face the person and zap him. That seems appropriate for a sacrifice. It's very clear that the horse demon has turned his back on you and betrayed your own guy. Okay, and let's go kick some butt with the horse demon. Alright, so let's see what happens on my next turn. Yeah, horse demon is going to be a beast. Alright, I've got nothing to sacrifice, so nothing triggered. But let's try it again. Let's go ahead and make some allies. Let's make some, I'm trying to think here what we can make. That'd be fun. Let's make some red starlings. These red starlings are in the game in honor of the creator of Starling, the engine that we use for our GPU processing and very fast frame rates here, Daniel Spurl from Gamua Software. And he is a really great guy, very supportive of his work. The kind of developer I would aspire to become is one that provides, I said, that excellent level of service. It goes above and beyond the duties of his work to really take care of his customers. And so we put the Starling in to honor him. Let's put those Starlings on my team. So now I've got some fodder for the... Sorry, Daniel, I'm going to have the horse demon sacrifice your birds. We need to test his ability. It's nothing personal. Just need to make sure that he's doing his thing here. So we would expect him to sacrifice this birdie first, and I think... I'm not sure which of these two is closer. But definitely this one first. There you go. He killed the closest birdie. Okay, definitely this birdie would be next, so let's end another turn. Unless he kills that bird, because he just has a vengeance for birds, but... Okay, cool. So it looks like Horse Demon's sacrifice power is working. Clever name already taken. Good morning, Ross. We put the birds in to honor him. Kills all the birds. Hello, good day to you, sir. And yes, we put the birds in and killed them. I don't know. That was kind of twisted, I suppose, but it's for a good cause. We're here to have fun. The birds aren't really killed. They're taken to a better place. The The object pool is where they go. So they could be reborn again. Okay, so we got the first part of his power working. He sacrifices, but we need to have it so that when I end my turn and there's nothing to sacrifice, he needs to start taking vengeance on me for not providing him sacrifices. Right? That's what makes him fun. Is the punishment he bestows upon you. So if the opponent can cleverly wipe out his sacrifice fodder with like a AoE spell, he just starts wrecking the summoner. And that's pretty funny. We like funny things in our game. Okay, so this is the trickiest part of his ability that we got to figure out now is how to get that second part to work. Okay, so let's go back to here. All right, what was that power called again? Sacrifice? Yeah. Okay. So this else condition's a bit weird because else deal 5 damage to your summoner. And why is it weird, you say? Because I have ability, I've added lots of versatility here to do conditional abilities like either or targeting effects, but I don't have a condition that allows me to say if one target fails, do something else. That is something not in the game. I can't detect if an ally was destroyed or not using traditional means. We're going to have to do it in a more clever way. So I started thinking about how it might work from I guess a real life perspective. So I'll kind of talk you through my idea and we'll see if this will work. I thought to myself, okay, well, this demon, he gets up every morning and the first thing he wants is his sacrifice, right? It's like I got to have my coffee. He wants to have his sacrifice. And so when he gets his sacrifice, he is appeased. He's happy. He's all right. I'm good for my day. I got my sacrifice. I'm good to go and move along, killing things as you order me to do so. But if I'm not appeased, I will not want to do orders you tell me to. Instead, I'm going to take out my wrath upon you. So I thought to myself, this idea of being appeased is something that we could store onto this character when he makes a sacrifice. So when he makes a sacrifice, he gets appeased and sets a flag on himself. And then I thought to myself, okay, great. If he doesn't get appeased, then he does something else. So that's where we're going to start this journey. We're gonna add a property for sacrifice appeased or whatnot, and we're going to store that on the demon when he successfully makes the sacrifice. And when he does not use the sacrifice, then we'll have an averse effect happen in a second step. So let's start with that. We're going to create a new property. To do that, we go to our traits, and we're going to create a flag here called, I'm going to call it flag. I use these terms just to keep this list organized so I can refer back to it, but this is just an attribute. It's a name value pair. We're going to call it sacrifice appeased. I guess is the best way to describe it. It's a little bit wordy, but there we go. Go to our triggered abilities. And we're going to go to sacrifice an ally. Okay, so an important thing to note about these abilities is that whenever an action has no targets, it will fizzle. It will not do anything for its effect because it can't do its effect if it has no primary target. And in this case, the targeting is controlled not by what it does to itself, but by whether it has access to a unit or not. So in this case, if there is no unit to sacrifice, this ability will not happen. It will not fire. So because of that, we can go ahead and make a second action effect that's not related to the targeting, but that can internally affect other things. It's kind of like a tack on. It's like you know, you're going to create a build to a law. You've got the main thing you're trying to do, but we're going to tack on some other stuff. That's what we're going to do. We're going to tack on some other stuff. And in this case, we're going to set trait flag sacrifice appease to 1 for true. Okay. Boom. Good. Okay. So that's the first thing. Okay. Save that. Now, let's take a look at what we got in the channels here. All right. Looks like the horse is working. Can you just control friendly units? Can you just count friendly units? Yes. Okay, so to give our viewers just coming on board here, so far we're working on the horse demon card who sacrifices allies at the start of your turn. He's just a beefy, really powerful guy, but he kills your own people, and if not, he takes his wrath upon you. And we've got his basic powers working as well as the sacrifice working. We chose to make him sacrifice allies, which could include your own units as well as any human teammate units that are near him. If there's only the horse and the summoner, it would be 2, right? Yeah, so he if it's just the horse and the summoner, he's going to start whipping damage on you. And what if there are 2 horses on your team? Which one triggers first? Oh, that's a great question. We will test that case, Imzacola. To answer your question, my anticipated answer would be that each horse will potentially sacrifice itself. They either both might die, and if they both don't die, then the horse who entered the board last will survive because of the last in first out order. The oldest horse's effect triggers first, but the last triggered effect resolves first. So the first horse would die, and unless we have a condition that requires the horse to be alive or not, and I think in this case the newest horse would live, because unless we put auto trigger on or death trigger, this ability can't be used unless the character is alive. So the horse has to be alive to sacrifice stuff. But we will test that. That is a great edge case. I'm glad you brought it up. It is definitely one of the weird things we need to consider when making new cards. Okay, and then Ross's approach is more versatile. Okay, I think that refers to the appeasal thing, because that's what I was just talking about. All right, so we've got this appease thing in there, right? Now, what does this do, right? We need to have a second trigger happen that is going to do something with this appeasal, right? So we need to make a new triggered ability. Now, right now I've got 2 different events that fire with the start turn. We've got start turn, and then we have the start turn complete. Okay, and I had that there for a reason, because I want to have different things happen at different parts of the start turn. In fact, as I'm going through this, I'm learning more and more about the needs to have multiple phases in the start turn to kind of group together like effects. For example, yesterday I was discovering that it'd probably be good to have a specific step in the start turn where it recalculates all your attributes. So when like buffs and stuff wear off, instead of them all wearing off in weird random orders, it just like clumps them all together and says, remove all the buffs, show me one status indicator that shows the new total change to my attributes, right, in the start turn. So kind of similar thing here. But it occurred to me I've already got 2 existing. What we're going to do is have the horse is going to attempt to sacrifice at the start of his turn, and then in the start turn complete, which happens after, he's going to go, was I appeased? If I wasn't, I exact my wrath. If I was appeased, great. Then I will not kill something today. But I will probably want to reset that flag so I can be hungry for more sacrifices on the next turn. Great. Okay, so let's, dare I say, copy this. Sacrifice ally. We're just going to call this part 2 for now. Again, I got to come up with a better way to name stuff. That's probably one of my biggest things here, but I'm not worried about it right now. Let's make this start turn part 2 so it's the same. Okay. Okay, so we already know the condition is the same. It's got to be the ability user. And I'm trying to think here. Yes, I do want this to always trigger, and I'll explain why. We need to have this always trigger so that we can reset the flag, right? Because whether or not he's appeased, he needs to be hungry again next turn. So, oops, I don't want to do that. Go back. I was also on the wrong one. Okay, this is the one I want. Okay, we need to make sure this flag is set to 0. That's one of the things we need to do. So regardless of whether he is appeased or not, he is going to be hungry again for next turn. So we always want to set this flag regardless. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to have to check if we are appeased or not. So in our targeting conditions, we have to do a couple things here. We need to make sure this event is always valid. So we're going to put a secondary target method of self, because no matter what, we want this ability to trigger. And if there's no targets, it will fizzle, remember? So in self, this is fine. This is just good as it is. This is going to be secondary target. Okay, so no matter what happens, the horse will be hungry again for the next turn. Okay, now primary target. Shoot, I'm trying to think. We have to reverse these. If the primary target's 0, it will also fizzle, I believe, because of how. Sorry, it won't fizzle. It'll have an error. It'll have a log error. So Ross is going to just go ahead and move these things around. Target, property, team. I thought I could cheat my way through this, I guess not. Is equal to target subject, ability user, property, team. And then the other thing I want is the target subject, target attribute is hero is greater than or equal to number 1. Oh, actually more specifically, this is another case where the wording, deal 5 damage to your summoner, not to the ally summoner. So we want to make sure this is not team, but player ID. Okay. The target player ID is equal to ability user player ID. The target is a hero. And this is not self anymore. This should be any unit. Any means anywhere on the board, so you can't hide from the horse. You're going to take your lashing from the horse if you piss him off. You summoned him, you got to deal with him. Okay? You got to deal with him. All right. We have fun here. All right, remove this, remove this, remove this. Okay, so let's make sure this is primary target now. Okay. Oh, shoot. I got to be careful here because I got to make this not set. I got to make this subtract. And the reason is that I have a whole built-in thing to change the order of these effects, and I need to make sure this does not change order. Set attributes will always occur first in my list, and I don't want to set it here because the condition of number 2 is important. Actually, wait, it doesn't matter? Let me think about that. Take it back. This is going to take into effect before the action effects are applied. No, we're fine. We're fine. Let's go back to what we had. Sorry. Forget everything I just said. I don't mean to confuse you. Let's leave that alone. Yes. This can happen just right there even is fine. Okay, we need another condition for this. The condition is target subject, ability user, property, trait. No, not trait. Trait. Now, where's that new thing we made up? It's called flag sacrifice appease. Okay, if this is less than or equal to 0. Okay, so he's only going to trigger this secondary targeting and take his wrath out if he is not appeased. Okay. And then if the effect, when the effect triggers, it's going to set his appease to 0. So he's going to reset him for the next turn. And then it's going to, we don't want to destroy God. That would be a little bit too brutal. We're just going to take some damage on you. Set, we want to do subtract from attribute as damage. Subtract. Oh, life remaining. Life remaining. Subtract from attribute. Subtract from life attribute remaining. We're going to hard code that to 5. For now, we can always change that later, and I'll explain how we do that. But for now, we're just going to put a 5 in there. Okay. And this needs to be, importantly, secondary target. If it's just target, it will target all targets, which means it will hurt the horse and the summoner. That'd kind of be funny. He gets pissed off at himself, too. But no. Sorry, you don't get a way out of this. You don't get to kill your own horse. If you make him mad, you take the damage. Secondary target. Okay. All right, so let's read through this again together, shall we? Let's get this description out of here. This is going to be, otherwise going to double up our descriptions. Okay. At the start of my turn, we want this to be not start turn, but start turn complete, the second phase. Start turn will completely resolve first before we get to the phase of start turn complete, so we're not worrying about any kind of stack issues here. Okay. It has to be the horse's turn. The horse will always target himself and reset his appeasal to 0. And the secondary targeting will trigger only if the horse is not appeased. And if it's not appeased, it's going to take its wrath out on the hero by dealing 5 damage. Okay, we should be good to go. Let's also take this out of here because I want to fix the way that wording on the card looks. We're going to go back to triggered abilities, or units rather. Scroll and find my horse. There's the horse. There's our description. Paste it in. Okay, that looks a little better. Okay, so now we need to give him part 2 of his ability, which is sacrifice part 2. Sacrifice and ally part 2. Perfect. See, so this is where we could feed in the 5 damage if we wanted to instead of doing it here, and that way we could kind of tune it a little bit easier. But we're just going to hard code it for now because this is really very specific to the horse, so that's okay. Okay, let's save him, and let's see what happens. All right, so let's take a look at some notes in the channel. Clever says, the 3 hardest things in programming, the naming of things by 1 errors. Wait, naming things off by 1 errors. Oh, naming things off by 1 errors. If you turn your horse into your summoner, does it hit itself in frustration? No, if you turn yourself into the horse, that's a great question. It would not hit him because he would now be considered a hero. Oh, wait, I take that back. He would hit himself in frustration. Oh, see, now we got to test that too. All right, that's okay. We got more tests. I think he would hurt himself. We're gonna have fun with that, and we're gonna do lots of fun transfer conscious stuff here coming up. Okay, so back into our test. Okay, and as we recalled, we've got 1 unit. Our turn has started, and he sacrificed. Oh God, why did he attack them both? Oh, okay. I guess he was not appeased. Oh, horse. What's wrong with you? Let's take a look at that trigger order. Let's see. Maybe I was incorrect in my assumption here. Okay, so this could all very well be a stack order issue. All right, so where did the player's turn actually start? Okay, here we go. Start a turn. Where is start turn complete? Player start turn complete. Here it is. Okay. Player uses sacrifice ally and start a turn part 2. Okay, so something. Oh, we probably didn't set that appeasal flag correctly. Let's go back and take a look at that. I think that the stack order looks correct, so it's something with the programming of the abilities itself. Sacrifice ally part 1. Yes. We don't want the. We appease the person being sacrificed. That. Hey, guy, we're killing. Are you appeased that we're killing you? No, the horse is appeased. Silly Ross. Okay. There we go. Yeah. Could you imagine having to compile and wait 30 minutes to discover this error? How frustrating. Okay. Hey! Why did you do that? Oh, that's why he did that. He's okay. Shoot. Dang it. Okay. Yeah, I see what I did there. Okay, so he didn't hurt me, but he used the ability because he has to, so he's not appeased anymore. So I got lazy. I tried to cram in multiple things into the same ability, and I probably shouldn't have done that. We always need to have him reset the flag. Ooh. Okay, so now I have to think about this carefully. We need to separate this into 3 abilities because we do not want to. We want to have the VFX happen when he lashes at the hero, but we don't want to have him lash at nothing. So I need to make a 3rd ability. So let's do that. Sacrifice. Start turn part 3. Reset appease. Okay. Okay. Here we go again. Wait, let's make sure that's the same. Let's make this P3 so I can see the rest of that word. This will be P2. Harm hero. And I'm going to make this P1 sacrifice. Probably just call these all horsepower because again, this is very, very specific to the horse. I don't know it makes sense to carry this to any other characters. It's very much a horse thing. That's what horses do. They kill their owners or they sacrifice their allies, I guess. I don't know. Okay. So this reset appease, we don't want any VFX. And this can also happen outside the stack. It just basically just simplifies the structure of this firing a little bit. We don't need this. We need this to be target. Or it doesn't really matter, but it's just cleaner that way. Oh, we don't want this. We don't want that either. And we don't want that. And we definitely don't need any of this, so let's get rid of it. And this is none. Okay. Perfect. Part 3. Okay, and part 2. Okay, so now I gotta move all this stuff over again. Target subject, target, property, player ID is equal to target subject ability user, property, player ID, save, new, target subject, target, attribute is hero. See, it'd be nice if I always like to, as I work, improve my productivity. I'm like thinking, and also give myself more work. Wouldn't it be nice if I could just type in the stuff and it would just auto search from the drop down? Greater than or equal to number 1. Okay, and then new target subject. In fact, here, we can make this even simpler. Now that, since we have this as a separate thing, we can just do event, put it up here, so it won't even fire this event. Target subject, ability user, trait is appeased, is less than or equal to number 0. Okay, so we don't need to worry about this anymore. Remove, 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 and none. Okay. We do want this cast. We don't want the closest unit. We can get rid of this. None. Okay. Okay. That should work. We don't want the sacrificed in there anymore. Okay. Now we're golden, I think. Start of turn. We're going to go ahead and sacrifice to appease. If I'm not appeased, then I trigger this. Take it out in you. Okay, good. All right, now we got to make sure the horse has all these things. So let's go back to horse. And the order does matter because that's the order they'll trigger in. And in this case, these should fully resolve before the next one gets triggered. So I don't think we have any danger of a stack issue happening here. I wanted, what was that thing called? Sacrifice part 3? P3. Boom. Sacrifice ally, harm the hero, then reset my appease. That is a fun set of powers to make this thing work. Okay. Good to go. Okay. There we go. So he did not try to zap me at all. Let's send him out there. Let's lock him in combat with these guys. Make sure his taunt power is working. The computer's smartly attacking me first to avoid the... Oh, that's right. Hesitate doesn't matter. He was pretty clever, though. He got the horse to turn around so he wouldn't take the damage of the hero. Oh, look at that! So he didn't have a sacrifice and he whipped me. But he dealt no damage. What the heck happened there? Something went wrong. I think it's probably because I forgot to change that secondary target to target. Okay, let's go back one more time. Third time's a charm. Another one of our mods should just be like the 6th time is the charm because it's really what it takes is like 6 times. 3 never seems to be lucky for me. Sacrifice and ally part 2. There it is. Save. Okay, there we go. And now... Good. Come and get some. It's like, no, wait, please! Let's see that again. Mr. Horse, I'm sorry. No, no, please don't, no, no! I'm sorry, I didn't appease you. Okay, so he did his thing. He dealt 5 damage correctly. My armor took a couple of those points. Good. Okay, so let's give him something to appease him for next turn and see what happens. Let's give him this guy, Lightning Elemental. Put him on my team. Okay, you guys get out of my way. I don't want you to hurt my horse. Let's just let him do his thing. Wait, did he just gain 2 health? What just happened here? Oh, yeah, that was weird. What happened there? Start over. What is happening there? What is that 2? Okay, he died. Then he dealt 2 damage. So what was that? +2. I have no idea what that was. It just triggered. That is definitely weird. There's some kind of weird ominous thing in there. Reset appease resolves? Why do I feel like it's that reset appease? He healed himself by 2 somehow. How the heck did that happen? I don't know. Like he recovered the health from that thing. We need to check that ability out. Hold on. Triggered abilities. I'm gonna go back to that sacrifice appeased. Let's turn this off. I don't want to deal with that problem. Something in here is healing the horse. The nth time is the charm. Yes, there we go. The witness me guy is appeased by being The witness me guy is appeased by being killed. He's too hungry. If you turn your horse into your summoner, does it hit? Oh yeah, we already got that one. Okay. All right. I'm just trying to figure out what happened here. There's some kind of mysterious thing that's causing the horse to heal himself, and I don't know why. I don't know why the horse is healing itself. That is definitely strange. All right, let's do this again. Okay, that's expected. Get out of here. All right, come over here, Snake. I want you to attack the horse like you did before. There's 1 damage, and then you're gonna kill him, and then I'm gonna take 1 damage from the poison. Huh. Okay, and that didn't do it this time. All right. That's should have probably captured a game log of that, and I don't know. Looks like it's good though. I think I know why I was doing that. I think it was a result of another piece of the engine I'm working on with regards to resolution of immediate effects. So I just turned that off and that seemed to fix it. Okay, but the key thing is we were going to go ahead and now check to see where's that guy I was just putting on the board before. This lightning elemental, make him on my team. Okay, get you guys back out of here. Okay. So now I want to see that the horse is going to sacrifice this guy this turn. Good. Okay, the horse killed him. All right, now we need to make sure that the horse is once again hungry on the next turn. Excellent. He is. Okay, the horse is functioning. Success! We have made the horse demon. All right, now let's test our weird edge cases, shall we? All right, I need the transfer test. Do I still have it in here? No. Okay, let's go make one. We need to give ourselves... Let's throw it in the... That was the Gate of Fate test. Which one do I no longer need anymore? Poison test. Let's use this one. Transfer test. Okay, remove that. Let's just go ahead and give ourselves transfer consciousness. Update, and then I want to give myself an additional horse demon as well. G comes before H-I, no, G. There you are. There we go. So now we can summon and see what happens. So we're gonna look at a couple of edge cases. I am a very big proponent of always considering exploring edge cases in games. Oh, I forgot to. There we go. So the two edge cases we're gonna check out are what happens if you have two horses? Do they kill each other? What happens? I don't know. We're gonna find out. And what happens if you are the horse? We're gonna find out. Let's give it a whirl. All right, so let's start with Imsicola's first. We're going to put two horse demons on the board. Now I've got two beefy but very hungry horse demons. That's what we would call them. Hungry horse demon. Hungry horse. That's not at all. Okay, here we go. End turn. Here comes the AI's dudes. Okay. Okay, so interesting. All right, so in this case, the oldest horse survived, not the newest. Why? And I can answer that. The start of turn things don't trigger any kind of cascading stack order. What happens is the start of turn event fires, and then the horse's ability fires. Anything that would be triggered as a result of the horse's ability firing would then resolve on the stack in the last in, first out order. Since nothing is responding to his sacrifice, his stack resolves completely, and then the next item on the stack that fires from the trigger event fires. So again, it's a little confusing. Triggers fire with the oldest thing on the board starting first. That's universal pretty much any programming, is that triggers always typically fire with the oldest one going first, unless you change it otherwise. And because he doesn't trigger any cascading effects, he resolves his first, the first horse dies, or the second horse dies. Now that the second horse is dead, he can't use his ability because he's dead. So the oldest horse lives. We have answered Imsicola's question. Is this in line with your expectations as players? Any thoughts here from the group? The VFX for the sacrifice looks like the horse has a long demon tongue and licks things to death. It's great. It is great. It is. I enjoy that. I love that. That's great. Licks things to death. Yeah, he needs an appropriate like sound or something when he does it too, so it's really terrifying. I need to make some really unsettling sound effects for him. Okay, but to answer that, does that answer your edge case question, Imsicola? The oldest horse lives, he sacrifices the newer one. I think that's. I think as long as the behavior is learned, like the first time you do it, you'll kind of see it. But let me know if there's any concerns with that. Okay, so the next question, or next edge case we have is what happens if you become the horse? And I have probably the weirdest card you've ever seen in the game here, Transfer Consciousness. Yes, it was probably inspired, I think, by the X-Men movie with Xavier's head going into another being. I just love that concept. And so we've got this card that's going to make your target ally become the summoner. You're going to transfer your thoughts into this other being. So now I am the horse demon, and I guess the first thing that will happen is I'll sacrifice him. That's a no-brainer. But what happens after that? Let's find out. All right, hungry horse demon is going to kill my old shell of a body. Yep, that was what we expected. Okay, you guys back. I want to interrupt the sacrifice here. Okay, next turn, there is nothing on the board to sacrifice, but I'm going to deal 5 damage to the summoner, which is me. I think I'm going to start hitting myself. All right, here we go. Where's my sacrifice? Ah! And he hurts himself. I think that is appropriate response. There's no one else to take enemy lashes out onto. I'm the one that's left. I start hurting myself. I think that's great. Thoughts from our audience here? What do you guys think? Perfect. It also makes them harder to replace easier. I think that seems like expected behavior if that's the way all the other startup things resolve. Yes. Okay, great. Okay, so we've explored the 2 edge cases that are weird for this guy, the transfer conscious, the extra horse, and we've come to a awesome conclusion on that. Cool. So we got 3 cards done. the stream is just about over. I've only got a handful of minutes left, so I'm not going to attempt the next one, but we'll save the kitty for next stream. So looks like 3 is about my average per stream. I should probably just come to expect that and not be too overambitious here. I think it's good to have a backup in case, things go smoother. But we completed the Red Imp today, the Mummy Queen, and lastly the Horse Demon. We did not get to the Cat of Nine. I will try to get to him next week. So make sure you guys tune in for the awesome fun events. We'll do the same time next week, starting at 9 a.m. Mountain Time to 11:30 a.m. Mountain Time. So Cat of Nine, summon Cat of Nine by your summoner until it has been defeated 9 times. It has 9 lives. And that card has all kinds of potential for fun synergies, especially with cards like the Transfer Consciousness, where you become the cat and he just keeps coming back to life. I mean, God, that would be really fun and also frustrating for the opponent to see. I keep killing him. He keeps coming back to life. What? Yes. So this has been a lot of fun. Once again, I'd like to thank everybody for stopping in to view the stream. Again, my name is Ross Shabilsky. I'm the founder of D20 Studios. This is all part of developing our upcoming original top-down adventure deck builder game called Summoner's Fate. You can kind of see from the webpage here that we've got some really great 2D art. The game all plays from a top-down tactical perspective. You get to explore the world through a series of really cool procedural rogue-like adventures. Build your deck. We've got a full endless single-player campaign, continuous content. We've got PvP. We're going to eventually have a cooperative PvP, like player versus AI, 2v2s. At some point, we may have cooperative dungeon crawls in there. But what makes us special is that we are a community-driven developer, okay? And I take that to heart. I listen to the players. I interact with you daily. I do these streams so you can take part in the process with me here. All the cards we made today were all inspired by player conversations that we had live on our Discord the past week. A lot of our marketing pieces and top things are also concerns or ideas that came from players. We take all that feedback to heart. I care about quality. I care about service. I care about creating an experience that's memorable, genuine, and fun. And I do this because I take care of that. I think it's good to have work you're passionate in and that people are passionate about. And I think it's important to have really strong and positive communities around the products and services you build. This isn't just a game I'm putting out there to make money. This is a game I'm putting out there to create something special for you to enjoy and for me to have meaningful work to service you for the next many, many years to come. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Again, our public early access is coming. It's going to be announced officially with our newsletter February, the first Wednesday of February. I'm not sure the exact date on that, but if you haven't already, subscribe here so you get the notification reminder. You'll be able to come on here, purchase the early access, take part playing the game with us, shaping the game. I mean, this is an opportunity unlike anything you've ever seen in the game before. We take player ideas seriously. We make them here for you on the streams weekly. I'm in the channel. I'm playing games with you guys. I love playing the game as much as I like making it. It is so much fun, the multiplayer. And also, I want to give a shout out to our streamer, Elizagator. We'll be doing another Summoner's Fate game event tonight. So if you want to take a look at the actual gameplay and see people playing it together online, we've got a few private early access players that have access. And Liz will be doing a stream of that. She does one every week. I'll be starting at 7:30 Mountain Time, so be sure to check that out and enjoy yourselves. Thanks again so much, guys, for joining us. Any last comments or questions I can answer? All right. Imsicola, is the double horse effect figured out? Yes, we did. The oldest horse survives. Duisburg, agreed. And we got some more. Plague Doctor is one of my favorite ideas, and I can't make it because it will be at 4 a.m. for me. Sorry, Imsicola. Well, you can view the streams, and I will try to schedule more streamers and different times, of course, so that we can try to accommodate everybody. I would love to see thousands of people playing this game at some point, streaming it, and all people taking part in the interaction. So there'll be lots and lots of fun to come. Thanks again so much for joining us, guys. My name is Ross, and I will see you again next week.